exactly what it sounds like, guys. That's pretty much exactly how the music sounds. Anyways, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Soapbox. I don't know why I'm speaking so loudly because quite frankly, my energy is just gone. It's been a very long week for me, so it's very surprising that I put this stream together in the first place because I could have postponed this, and I thought about postponing this quite a bit. But to elaborate, I've spent from Monday until yesterday working on the gym that I work at, which update, I get to be a coach and World Ninja League employee full time now. Super hyped. I've been having to juggle like 2-3 jobs every year, and now I'm just Coach Kane from WNL, Kane not Kasugi. I get to do ninja stuff now full time. It's gonna be great. I'm super excited about that. But that did involve about 45 hours of construction on obstacles and rearranging things and course design and just a lot of exhausting things. So yeah, it was just a lot. But we're alive. We made it through. And then last night at around 10:30 Eastern time, PM, I started commentary for the Compound World Ninja League Premier Series competition that's over in Australia. So the time zones are super off. So from 10:30 p.m. until 6 a.m. today, I was doing commentary. And I actually am going back into it at like 7:30 p.m. until probably midnight or 1 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully, they can speed up the process this time around. There were a lot of athletes who signed up this time, though, so it's good. It's a good thing that it went so long. But also, I'm very tired. It's been a long week, and I'm just ready to get back into a routine, ready to get back into some normalcy. I'm going to get into my new work schedule. I'm going to be able to train consistently again. A week where I'm doing physical labor. I'm still fit. I'm still strong, but I'm ready to get back into doing some obstacles that are going to challenge me and not just testing obstacles for little kids that I feel are safe for them. With that said, we are jumping back into Soapbox. That's why we're here. So welcome everybody to Season 2 of Soapbox, Episode 13. For those who might be still new to Soapbox, we are going over different topics in every episode, every stream about just anything regarding ninja. It could be about ninja shows, ninja leagues, different aspects of ninja as a whole, the past, present, and future, things about competitors, obstacles, running competitions, and phew, it's been 3 months and we're finally back at it. So I'm glad you guys are here. Shout out Casey, Ninja Gamer, Poke, Billy, Ventura, Naren. Welcome, Ventura. I'm glad you get to finally see Soapbox live. It's gonna be a good one, I think. We're gonna start off again the way our Soapbox streams work. I have a little list. What's up, Cheyenne? I have a little list of things to discuss regarding today's topic, and today's topic is ninja formats. Some of it might be a little spicy. Some of it's going to be pretty nuanced and middle of the road. The goal of Soapbox is to always grow people's minds. Let's get people to think outside the box about certain subjects where we might tunnel in and be a little hateful, or we might be glazing it a little too much. And let's really stop and think about it, have a conversation. You listen to me for a little bit, and then we all have a big group discussion after that presentation. So that way, Soapbox is a safe space for conversation at all times. And I'm very excited to be bringing this back. So, without further ado, this episode is about ninja formats. The good, the bad, and the confusing. If you can't tell, I'm very tired, but the energy's high because I'm glad that this is finally back. So, getting right into it, this is what we are covering today. We're covering different formats in Ninja. I'll talk about that in a second, but different formats for Ninja. My personal preference and why I think it makes sense. Obviously, I'm biased in that regard, but I think I have a pretty good train of thought here. Show formats versus league formats, because there are differences, and external factors that might affect the way we perceive ninja formats. Now, I wasn't going to do this episode like at all. I didn't even think to do it. The reason I did this was because within the span of like a month, ANW 17 revealed its format. Ninja Warrior Poland was filming and they switched to Ninja versus Ninja. We don't know if it's the whole show or if it's just a portion of it. Leagues are constantly changing up formats and creating new things, making adjustments to make the sport as progressive as possible. And so, you know, formats for the longest time in Ninja have been such a hot topic. And so I think now more than ever is the time to talk about it, you know? So, what's my favorite format? I mean, I think I'm in the majority when I say that it's the Midoriyama format, which is our traditional 4-stage format that began on Sasuke and has gone all around the world in all of these spin-offs. This is essentially how every ninja show started. And, you know, it's no surprise that this is my personal favorite format. I'm not going to speak on whether or not it is the best because I think we are way too early in this episode to be saying it's the best. Sorry, Ninja Gamer. We just are. But obviously, a lot of us wouldn't be here if not for the format of this show. It's a classic. It's, you know, competitor versus the course. It's a test of the physical limits. And to me, that is what got me into Ninja. It wasn't just the obstacles. The obstacles are cool. The competitors were all right. They were fine. They're nice. But the aspect of, oh, no one can win this, that was what pulled me in. And the idea of, oh, the win's going to be totally epic when it finally happens. That's what draws me personally into Ninja. I know that that's not the same for everybody. So maybe people's answers may vary, but I personally love this format for that reason. It also probably helps that I've been around this format since I was 4 years old. You know, it's been 18 years of my life with Sasuke in it. So obviously I'm going to have the most history and the most attachment to it. Now, again, does that mean that this is objectively the best? I'm not going to say, because we have a lot to cover in this soapbox episode. But yeah, it's, like I said, personal favorite. However, this is very fun as well. I very much enjoy racing. I'm definitely not a hater of racing on obstacles. I think, you know, there's something really special and something that adds pressure to not just having to beat the course, maybe having to beat the course within a time limit as well, but also having that pressure of someone next to you. I think it adds an entire new element. And I personally don't see the reason to hate on the premise of racing in Ninja, like at the surface level. I don't think we need to be hating on that. And I don't really think I've seen too many people hating on the concept of racing, period. You know, it started with Team Ninja Warrior, and people were generally receptive to it. You know, not everyone loved it, but there's definitely some enjoyment that people had in those early days of Ninja versus Ninja. And we see that everywhere still to this day, where if there's a racing format, you know, there's going to be people who are fans of it. I am a fan of it. Again, I'm going to probably prefer the Midoriyama format for ever, most likely, just because, again, I like the appeal of it, not guaranteeing a winner. And I also have the most attachment to it. I don't have as much history with racing, but I also actually enjoy that it guarantees a winner, funny enough, because it allows for these showdowns that are inevitable to feel special. You know, when you finally get to the championship and they are the two top dogs and you've seen them dominate their sides of the bracket all leading up to this big old clash, that could happen at any round of the competition, and I think that's really cool. So I definitely think that both formats have a lot going for them. So I enjoy both. I very much enjoy both. Now, with that said, there are definitely bad formats that have occurred in Ninja Warrior history. I've written a couple of reasons that might throw some flaws into the into ninja formats as a whole. For one, unfair matchups. This is specifically for Ninja versus Ninja, and my example that I gave was Australia season 6. Australia 6 had semifinals be Ninja versus Ninja, and I don't hate that. I don't think any of us are really offended by semifinals having Ninja versus Ninja. The problem that I had was that there was no seeding process. There was no, there wasn't even a random draw. There wasn't any way to determine the matchups for the races in a fair and competitive way. Production picked. They handpicked all the matchups, and they had the hosts essentially tell them who they were racing, and it was always best friends are facing each other. Kid is racing his coach. Father, son, training partners, best friends, brothers, whatever, you name it. They were getting picked for the sake of the show wanting drama, thinking that would add, suspense and tension to their show, and it just didn't work. That absolutely took me out of the show. That was one of the most offensive decisions in Ninja history. It was made for reality TV, as Poke said. I can't really back this specific way of spinning a story. There are other ways to create narratives without completely fabricating them. And the funniest thing is, it kind of backfired because they were people who were super close to each other, racing each other. So there wasn't any animosity. There was respect and friendly banter in trash talk. It wasn't the rivalry and the trash talk that they were wanting to get out of it. So it just blew up in their face. Another flaw might be too many steps or rounds in it. And the example I'm going to use is A&W Junior. I don't think A&W Junior is complicated to follow. It follows the same format as Team Ninja Warrior. So if you know the format of Team Ninja Warrior, it's the same thing. The problem was there were about 20 plus episodes, 18 plus episodes of A&W Junior each season, and they would do qualifiers, and it was basically each qualifier was an episode of what you would get on Team Ninja Warrior. Without the relays, it was just 1v1s instead of relays at the end of the episodes. And then they would rinse and repeat that process for a lot of episodes. And then they would rinse and repeat that process again in the quarterfinals. They had qualifiers, quarterfinals, semifinals, a wild card episode, and the finals. And with the exception of the finals, the process and format was just the same cookie cutter, rinse and repeat. And so when that goes on for so many rounds, it can be a lot, and it can drag. It can be a little boring. So yeah, it was tough. It was a little hard to watch. And then of course the biggest flaw in my opinion that can be found in a Ninja Warrior format is if it is confusing for audiences, it's hard to understand. And Ninja Warrior France season 7 is the perfect example of that. I made a short on it last year when it came out. But in short, for those who haven't watched the season, Ninja Warrior France had the Power Tower, the Mega Wall, a time limit on the first 2 obstacles, the High Road, split decision, and 3 separate buzzers on the qualifier course, all at the same time. So, and the Speed Pass. Yeah. And the Power Tower wasn't the Power Tower, it was the Memory Tower, where you'd have to memorize a sequence of cliffhangers to grab, and if you grab the wrong ones, they would fall on you and you'd drop. So, just too convoluted. That's just the qualifiers. That's not even including the semifinals or anything past that. That's the qualifiers. And there's so many different variables going around that even if I spoke French, I would have been lost because there's just so many different directions and paths that you could have taken. It just makes it hard to follow. And I don't think that that's good for a TV show if it's hard to follow, especially when it's something as typically linear as Ninja Warrior. So, yeah, those are 3 notable flaws for Ninja formats that can be found pretty commonly. Now, here's my verdict on the formats. I personally think that you need to either commit to Midoriyama for finals or commit to racing for finals. I don't really care about what they do for the qualifiers or semis. Typically, if it's racing, it's not offensive. If it's, the traditional qualifiers, it's not offensive. It's fine. I have no personal preference there. What I don't think that shows should do for finals is a mix of both racing and the Midoriyama format for their finales. I think that leads to some controversy. I think it leads to a bit of a convoluted plot, to say the least. And we might see a couple of things just really confuse audiences or throw them off. Perhaps the change between racing and solo runs can be a bit jarring. It really does depend on the viewer. And I think it's just better to commit to Midoriyama for finals or to commit to racing for finals. So in the context of, let's say, A&W, I would prefer the Midoriyama format, the 4-stage format in Vegas. My second choice would be what they're doing with A&W 17. I would prefer them fully commit to races for the finals. Because quite frankly, it's just easier to follow, and I think there's a way to have some cohesiveness with a finale that's all one style of Ninja. I prefer having an all racing finale over like what we have with A&W 15 and 16, where we're going back and forth between the two, and there's different variables from stage 1 that carry over into stage 2, and variables from stage 2 that carry over into stage 3. It's not my preferred way to watch, having to kind of switch my brain back and forth as a viewer. I would much rather, again, just have the 4 stages with the same concept, or all racing with the same concept, if that makes sense. I think that's a fair assessment. You know, I don't think I'm being super out of line here when I say, you know, just stick to one thing, get really good at that one thing, and give us quality TV, or get as close to that as possible. Now, there are 2 different types of formats that I want to kind of talk about: show formats versus league formats. You know, like obstacles, we talked about this in season 1 of Soapbox, where we went over obstacles that might be better for leagues versus obstacles that might be better for shows. Formats can vary depending on the medium of Ninja being shown or put on. I also think that people are jumping the gun calling 17 the worst season just because of the format, but we also are going to have to wait a year until we see exactly what happens with it. Now, show formats are either meant to be straightforward for the audience to understand or super gimmicky for entertainment. On one end of the spectrum, we have Sasuke, which is a very simple concept. And on the other hand, we have something like France 7 with a whole bunch of different power-ups, speed boosts, split decisions, choices, whatever else. League formats are made to be as unbiased and simple as possible to further the sport. You want to make sure that everything is the same as, not as close to the same. You want it to be exactly the same for every single athlete that runs in a Ninja League, because this isn't a reality TV show where someone wins a grand prize. This is a sport. This is a competition where athletes are going to try to, you know, become champion against athletes who aren't getting chosen by a production team. They're signing up and putting themselves out there and putting in the work. So league formats have to be a little stricter and a lot more precise than show formats. Give me 1 second. I've been taking care of this rip, and this little piece of dead skin needs to come off. So I'm gonna just get some nail clippers. I'm gonna cut that dead skin off, and I will be right back. Ah, yes, Calypso with a K, Calypso the cat. I see you all enjoy some Calypso content. Hi little girl. All right. So, we are back. All right. So, there are also external factors that can affect how we as an audience enjoy a format, including the presentation. You know, the editing can absolutely affect how we as viewers enjoy or hate format. You know, if it's hard to follow, if it's presented poorly, if they're choosing certain runs that spotlight maybe the hardships of the format over the successes of the format, I think that definitely affects the way we react to it, and it definitely affects our opinions either for better or for worse. The competitors, this is not just specific to who's racing, but it's a little more relevant to who's racing on a Ninja versus Ninja format. The talent level overall is what I'm getting at, because you could have a bunch of really weak athletes on the Midoriyama format, and it would not be a fun tournament. You could have really strong people racing not as strong people, and every race becomes a blowout. That's obviously not the most entertaining to see. You want athletes who can clear courses without, a clear fest on stages, and you also want races where the competitors are pretty evenly matched and you get a pretty solid episode of racing. Obstacles is another major variable, because a single obstacle can ruin everything on a course. A large reason why I don't really enjoy stage 3 of Sasuke nowadays is because it is so dependent on the cliffhanger. And yes, the vertical limit as well, but mainly the cliffhanger, honestly. No one really falls before that. And the people who typically make it past, oh my gosh, Calypso. The people who typically make it past the cliffhanger, it's a problem. Great shout by Radium there. The slingshot in Ninja vs. Ninja for AW 15, that was such a pace killer after 4 pretty speedy obstacles prior to the slingshot. So it just slowed down what were pretty exciting races overall. And, obstacle choice can definitely affect it as well. And it's hard to differentiate the two, because on one hand, the obstacles and the course themselves are not the same as the format. But on the other hand, the obstacles affect the format for sure. It should be the other way around. The format should affect the obstacles. If you have a race course, it should be, we need speedy obstacles. We need, to make a speed course. Not, let's throw this obstacle on the speed course and try and make them go fast on slingshot. That's not how that works. So obstacles in any type of format can absolutely be a problem if placed in the wrong position or just out of place entirely. And then repetitiveness. Not everyone likes to watch Ninja Leagues, and I can understand that, because it's repetitive. It's the same course, and you could watch that anywhere between 1 hour and 6 hours, and that can be the same for so many different things. It's a large reason why Sasuke has gotten stale for me personally. The course hasn't changed enough for me to really feel like it's refreshed enough. And so when you get the same competitors and the same field, it starts to get a little monotone. And sometimes, there's definitely highlights in each tournament, but there's also definitely a lot of low points in each tournament because of the repetitiveness. And the same can be said for a lot of ninja shows nowadays, as the budget's being cut for multiple ninja shows. So they're resorting to reusing obstacles, and it gets to the point where you can only watch the same thing so many times. Yep, exactly what Shine said. Only so many times I can watch the same people fail the same obstacle. And that's where I'm at with a good chunk of ninja shows specifically. The nice thing about leagues is that their finals will always change courses every year. So there are different places for it. But yeah, Sasuke in Poland, yeah. Poland had a very repetitive course after Season 6. It paid off eventually. We finally got a winner, but hopefully they change something about it that isn't just the racing changes. Now, it's time for some hot takes. And here is why I put time to self-reflect. Because as I say these 3 hot takes, I don't think they're that hot personally, but some of you might feel called out. That's okay. That is quite literally what Soapbox is for. I want you guys to think about yourself as viewers. How do you enjoy things? How should you enjoy things? Or if you are incapable of enjoying certain things when it comes to ninja, why are you watching? And that's not to say, get out, I don't want you here. But that is to say, there are probably better ways to use your time than hate watching A&W if you're just never going to give it a shot. So let's get into hot take number one. Number one, Midoriyama is not everything. Ninja has evolved and grown, so it's time our minds do the same. There will always be a place in Ninja for Midoriyama, but it can share the spotlight nowadays, and that's okay. I don't think that's crazy to say. Is it my favorite? Yes. Is it objectively the best? We'll get to that in just a second. But so many different things have been done with Ninja. There's been the Midoriyama format. There's been 1v1 matchups. There's been team matchups. There's been different age divisions, and there's been runs on the power tower, or there's been runs on a straight line course. Like, there's just so many different ways that Ninja has evolved, and the obstacles have fit into different structures or different layouts, that it allows us to get more creative with the formats. And because of that, Midoriyama can absolutely share the top spot with something else. And is that to say that it's currently number 2 to anything? I don't think so. I would say it's probably a joint number 1 with racing in terms of the relevance and the popularity of the format. But there's always going to be a place for Midoriyama. I just don't feel the need to put it on this pedestal as if it is the only way that Ninja can be done, because I think that past a certain point, it's unreasonable. Ninja's been around for almost 27 years, and that just means, things are going to keep changing. A lot has happened in 27 years for Ninja. A lot more is going to happen in the next 27 years, and I think it's best that we try and move with it as productively as possible. Now, for hot take number 2, different formats in main shows are fine. Just because, look at me, okay? We're going to get close here. Just because it's not a spin-off doesn't automatically make it bad. Coming into a season with that way of thinking is closed-minded and counterproductive. It also completely disregards the quality of the season in discussion purely because of your own OCD. A&W 12 is an example, as Ninja Gamer just said. A&W 17 is going through the same exact thing that A&W 12 is going through right now. If A&W 12 was a spin-off season, it'd be good. No, or you could just say that A&W 12 isn't as bad as you think. It's just not the same thing as A&W 11 or prior. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. Same thing for A&W 17. There's nothing wrong with saying that. And just writing it off because it's not Midoriyama and it's not American Ninja Warrior, Ninja versus Ninja Revival, that's such a dumb reason. It frankly is a dumb reason because it's your own OCD messing things up. It's the same show. Deal with it. If you can't deal with it, don't watch it. That's fine. Just don't give all your negative energy to the people who are going to be open-minded and are curious about how the season's going to go. I personally am curious about how A&W 17 is going to play out. We haven't seen the episodes yet. We haven't seen the obstacles. We haven't seen how this format is going to play out on TV. So am I going to judge it right now? No. Because there is nothing to base judgment off of besides a single Instagram post. So at that point, A&W 17 could end up being one of the best seasons of Ninja in recent years, and no one's really going to care because it's not the same format. It's not Midoriyama. It just doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way because there is no logic behind it. If A&W 17 turns out to be bad, and you want to state your opinions on that after the episodes have come out and you formed an opinion on it, that's a different story. But, yeah. Number 3, every Ninja format has flaws. And this is where I talk about when we say, I'm not sure I can say the Midoriyama format is the best, objectively. It's my favorite, but is it the best? I don't know. Because every single Ninja format centers around specific results, carrying the overall entertainment value and watchability of the competition. Meaning, any format can lead to something great or something terrible. And I'm gonna spotlight this right now. There are some great ways where this plays out and some great ways where it doesn't. Sasuke 4 versus Sasuke 20. Sasuke 4 has the overall record for the amount of people who have cleared Stage 1 in Sasuke. It eventually led to the first total victory in Ninja Warrior history. It was a great tournament. It was a lot of fun. On the other hand, the same format is in Sasuke 20. They don't change the rules. They change the course, yes. The course is different in Sasuke 4 versus Sasuke 20. But the fact of the matter is, the same format that gave us 37 clears on Stage 1 also gave us 3 clears on Stage 1. In Sasuke 19, it gave us 2 clears on Stage 1. Whether or not you find these things entertaining is up to your opinion. I have never seen someone say that they found Sasuke 4 entertaining because so many people cleared, and then at the same time said, I enjoyed Sasuke 20 because so few people cleared. Typically, people either love bloodbaths and hate the clear fests, or love clear fests and hate the bloodbaths. I've never seen someone who really appreciates both. So it's important to take a step back, take a look at everything, realize it's the same thing. We're still talking about Sasuke here as an example. And at the end of the day, anything can happen in the Midoriyama format. It is unhinged. You could see any tournament end on Stage 2. Sasuke 42 could end on Stage 2. The probability of a Sasuke tournament ending before Stage 3 is always higher than 0. Always higher than 0. I don't care if anyone wants to be like, well, Yusuke Morimoto's a bot. I get it. I do. But simply, the fact of the matter is, the probability is always higher than 0. Always. And now, moving on to the second little category I have here, A&W 15 versus 16. Obviously, these seasons have followed the same format. And because of that, I think it's great to highlight A&W 16 being straight up better than A&W 15. I don't know how else to say that. A&W 16 is highlighting all of the positive ways this format can play out, whereas A&W 15 highlighted some of the negative ways this format could play out. Take a look at Stage 1 of Vegas this year versus last year. This year, we have 26 finishers from Stage 1 racing on Stage 2. No one got snubbed from a spot on Stage 2. Everyone earned their spot with a buzzer. It was originally top 24, and they extended it to top 26. That's one of the benefits of the format that they had. On the other hand, A&W 15 had Stage 1 where not everybody cleared. I believe it was 21 athletes cleared Stage 1. And so we had 3 non-finishers go to Stage 2. And that's not, it's not great. It's not something that people enjoy as Sasuke Pierce. 18 cleared, so 6 people didn't. Sorry, thanks for the correction. So a quarter of the field in A&W 15 didn't clear Stage 1. Some of them still made Stage 3. That's kind of crazy, So obviously that season seems to highlight the ways that format can go right for people in the worst ways possible, whereas 16 can show how this format can benefit athletes. It's the same format. They didn't change the rules. They didn't even change the course, really. They swapped out 2 obstacles in Vegas. And it's one of those where, it is what it is. And I think 16 overall in quality has been higher in terms of the races that we've seen in the semis, in terms of what we've seen on Stage 1, compared to Season 15 at the very least. I've so far found every point of the season, of the episodes in 16, better than what they were in Season 15. That might be just me, but that's where I stand with it. What's up, Chase? Thanks for joining. Someone give me like an okay or a thumbs up if they are following what I'm saying and I'm not just rambling. I'm doing good, Chase. How are you? Yeah, Ninja Gamer, a lot of people say that 16's the worst, but a lot of people said 15's the worst. A lot of people said 14's the worst, 13's the worst, 12's the worst. It's just every year. It's just people being upset at what they're seeing. I And that's why Soapbox exists, because I want to make people either enjoy Ninja or realize that there's not much enjoyment that you can get out of Ninja if you're not really having fun while watching, and it might be time to let go. I just hope that there's peace. Peace, said the guy who banned like 50 people from the A&W subreddit. All right. So, the overall lesson here, what is our takeaway? Anything can happen in any Ninja format. You should support what you want to support by watching. If you're curious about something, give it a shot before passing judgment on it. Hate watching helps absolutely no one, not even yourself. It's definitely better to just avoid something entirely if you're not interested, or, versus, hate watching and then spreading all that negativity into other people's business when they might be enjoying it more than you are, and then you're bringing their mood down. So that is my episode of Soapbox today. 36 minutes through our presentation. Pretty solid. So we will now kick it over to the discussion side of things. Let's jump right into that. Does anybody have any thoughts on what I've been saying, or any takes that they might want to share? Well, Chase, you're not necessarily at the end of Soapbox. You're kind of in the interesting part where people can chat. Casey has thoughts, so it looks like the conversation is going to get started. Oh, doesn't think that she'll announce them. Never mind. I guess not. Yeah, A&W always spoils results, Cyan. Good to see you in the chat, though. Hi, Maddie. Huh. I'm assuming that someone's either typing a big old thing, or we don't really have much to talk about in terms of what's been said on formats. Favorite formats are NSC's Burnout. I love Burnout courses, and Premier Series Challenge course. I like challenge courses. I think they're a great compromise for people who are traditional fans of Ninja like myself, but also understand that to be a sport and to be as ruthless as Ninja is with a single fail, it's just not the most reasonable. So having retries on the challenge course, I think that's smart, and I think the WNL has handled that really well. Yeah. Think Midoriyama and Racing are both alright but overused. That's fair. I mean, they have been in the spotlight for the longest, so overused is probably an understatement, but I still enjoy them quite a bit, and I think a lot of other people do. I love burnouts. I just love that you can't drop during a burnout. That's great. I've always found it weird how people group the A&W and Sasuke formats as Midoriyama, but A&W as qualifiers and semis. So do you reckon the Sasuke format is better, or the A&W with the qualifiers and semis? That's going to come down to personal preference. For sure, the 4-stage format is the Midoriyama format, and I think that's where people group A&W and Sasuke together, Billy. I personally think I prefer A&W. I am more, how do I put this? I want the serious competitors on the course. I want the serious competitors on the course. And because of that, I want qualifiers and semifinals to weed out the athletes who aren't ready for obstacles as tricky as A&W. A&W, for the longest time, was able to evolve their courses, make things harder, introduce new techniques. And Sasuke just doesn't do that because they have celebrities that they have to make room for. They have people that got personal invites. They do have their everyday people, and I do appreciate that side of things. But to me, the qualifiers handles the everyday person aspect of Ninja just fine, or at least used to. There's definitely a lot more people who are training in ninja gyms on the show now than ever before. I don't hate that, but there's still the everyday person aspect, mainly in qualifiers and semis. So I get that dose of it on A&W from those episodes without, um, without, how do I say it? Without it affecting Vegas. I love that Vegas is the best of the best. It's not 100 people, but it's maybe 70 or 80 really, really strong people taking on obstacles that are supersized, that are crazy fun, or look really challenging. And anything can happen because everyone's on their A game, and it's going to come down to, as I've said before, who has the better day. As I've said in Soapbox, I don't think that there really is a greatest of all time. It's going to come down to who has the better day. And because of that, I think Vegas is much more interesting than Sasuke, which has become a lot more monotonous, especially because they're inviting people. It's not as elite to make it to Vegas. It's tougher to make it to Vegas than it is to make it to Sasuke. Sasuke, you apply, and they say yes or no. A&W, you apply, they say yes or no. You go through 2 rounds of courses, and then you get the actual shot at Midoriyama. I think that's what I prefer personally. However, I understand why some people prefer Sasuke, and I definitely don't. I'm not going to be that guy who's going to shame them for that opinion, because I don't think it's a bad opinion to have. It's just different strokes for different folks. I like the competitive aspect of what Vegas has become. Others prefer how casual Sasuke can be, and that's not really my style. Not anymore. Maddie says that the best semis course as a casual Ninja Warrior enjoyer is the Poland semis. Yeah, I mean, I like the Poland semis. I like when semifinals in the European Ninja shows are essentially speed courses. I think those are a lot of fun. The Germany 6 to 8 semifinals are essentially the same thing, just a little longer with some trickier obstacles. But I do like that style. I like when semifinals are more speed-based, simply due to the pacing of the episodes. Qualifiers can drag in any show because just obstacles, people are trying to be careful on them. And that can lead to people getting tired. That can lead to runs being long rest times. So to have semifinals be the opposite of that, I think is pretty refreshing. Yeah, that's my personal take. I can understand the appeal to that. However, I also see the appeal of the progression of the A&W semis, where A&W qualifiers are 6 obstacles, and then they make adjustments to those 6 obstacles and add 4 more at the end for semis. And it's therefore a harder version of the same course you did. I think there's, definitely appeal to both. I'd rather just see formats that allow for new creative obstacles. Ninja versus Ninja limits things to just obstacles the competitors are familiar with, and it's boring, I fear. Okay. Casey's got some hot takes here. Not necessarily a hot take. It's something that I agree with. What's up, Jakari? So, you're right. Ninja versus Ninja courses mean that they become speed courses, and because of that, they're obstacles typically that athletes should be able to link and go through very quickly, or sprint and whatnot. That doesn't mean that you have the most challenging courses out there for Ninja versus Ninja. The challenge is not beating the course, it's beating the course quickly. And that means the obstacles are not all the way up here, maybe there's somewhere here, and they get elevated to this level of difficulty because of how fast you're meant to do them. So I can understand that for sure. That's a big reason I like things like the WNL Challenge course, which was mentioned a little earlier by Naren, because having a course where you get to do retries does mean that you get to make obstacles that don't have to be beaten on the first try. Maybe they can make something harder where if they don't get it first try, they have that extra cushion of doing it a second time. And if they don't do it a second time, then their run's over. And I think that's fair. So I think it's a fair take. I think it's a good take. So Cheyenne says, I rediscovered Sasuke almost 2 years ago, watched it on Challenge years ago, and was a purist for a while. Then finally checked out the A&W 14 Vegas, then all of A&W, plus Race for Glory. Got into Ninja Leagues around then. Looking back now, I regret not branching out sooner. And now look at him. Cheyenne's now one of the newest World Ninja League commentators, so you can catch him on the mic in some competitions in the near future. And I don't know. It's fair. Like that's not even. I love what Cheyenne just said because he's not bashing anything. He's not hating on Sasuke. He's not hating on A&W. He's not hating on Race for Glory. He's not hating on leagues. He's just said, I watched this, I watched that, I also watched this and that, and then I watched this, and I enjoyed it all. And I wish that I had watched it sooner. What a great approach to just absorbing everything. And sure, maybe he likes some things over another, but he's probably filtering it out. It's not like he's glazing everything, and it's not like he's bashing everything. I think that's a great balance to have. All right. Poke said, to me, Ninja Warrior Germany 8's semifinals always appear to be a hybrid of the speedy semifinals and pumpier semifinals that have been used from seasons 3 to 5, not really counting 2, results-wise and course-wise. That's fair. There's some very techie obstacles. I don't know if I'd call the semis from 8 pumpy, but technical for sure. I prefer the semifinals from 8 over 7, but I also, it's not like they were totally different. You know, it's not, yeah. That's just me. Oh, no. For my football fans out there, I missed the draft of my fantasy football league with my family. And my quarterback is Dak Prescott. I'm screwed, dude. Oh, man. He's either going to do really, really well or really awful. Billy says that he and Cheyenne are similar in that he's still got the Sasuke purist blood inside him, but he's not allergic to new ninja stuff. Totally fair. He thinks competing in real life is also, helped in having to adapt to new formats. That's so true, dude. When you compete as well, your outlook on things change because I'm going to be real. I see the benefits in competing as an athlete in different formats. And I see why different formats have been made for leagues that were not what you're used to on Sasuke or something like that. Because I got into Ninja because of the love of like the desire to win when no one else could, to be that like rare champion. I'm now continuing because yes, there is that feeling still inside of me, but also because the obstacles are just really fun. So having the ability to perform well and show your skill in formats that aren't as ruthless for a sport, it's not bad. That's like saying you're playing soccer, you take a shot, you miss, you're not even on target, your coach benches you for the rest of the game, and you don't get any chance to redeem yourself, and you could have made a better shot. It's just not a fair call to make. That's kind of what it's like for Ninja. So different formats for Ninja allow that flexibility, allow athletes to show when these flukes don't happen, this is what I'm capable of. And I've really grown to respect it a lot more over time, especially these last 2 years since I've been competing. Casey said it's kind of funny because she grew up with A&W, wish she got into Sasuke while she still could. You still can. It's all out there. We have it on the vaults. Could really resonate with that style of format and the ongoing structure. Yeah, no, totally fair. Maddie hopes that Ninja Warrior Poland did some big changes with the courses for Season 10. Big change, they're racing each other this season. We don't know if it's for the entire show or if it's only for like the qualifiers and semifinals. But they're racing. So there's that. And we'll find out exactly what it is in spring of next year. It's coming out in the spring of 2025. Polish people racing, I'm so morbidly curious. Speed is not all that they do, my guy. Speed is not all that they do. They do OCR 100. That is not the same as speedy ninja courses. And it's gonna be interesting. I don't. OCR is massive there. That's not ninja. You mean it like, look, if anything, let's put it this way. Ninja Warrior Poland's courses have not really evolved beyond ANW 8, and that's being generous. I could say ANW 6, honestly, and it's still an accurate statement. Those courses, I look at them and I'm like, I could do them in under a minute. And some of these guys, their fastest runs are like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. OCR is not the same as Ninja. There's not enough overlap between monkey barring through things and doing an obstacle like spring forward, because they're always stupidly awkward on it. Like, I don't think it's going to be as good as you think, Billy. I really don't. There's on Ninja Warrior Poland, there's a total of like 20 people tops, and that's, again, being very generous. I might even be doubling that. Who could actually move fast. I think we're going to get a lot of turtle races on that show. We'll see. I'd like to be proven wrong, but we'll find out. Benjamin says that he likes the format of NSC overall, especially the NSC hybrid courses. I don't know. I like the NSC format. I don't know if I enjoy 3 retries per obstacle. I think that's kind of crazy. And I also don't really like that the timer keeps running down when an obstacle is being reset. I prefer the way the challenge course for WNL does it, where the timer freezes while the obstacle is being reset, so the athlete isn't penalized extra. I think their retry system's a little too generous for my liking, but it's not bad, you know? It's not objectively bad. I just think that you could go through 3 obstacles and have really had 9 attempts. That's kind of insane, you know? Regarding Cheyenne and Billy's topic, it's obviously, if it's been constantly changing between the Sasuke purist and the open for international ninja category for Poke. He's really learned to be more open. Says it's also thanks to me. Hey man, I am here because I don't want to be alone in this ninja world, man. I would love to be able to have these conversations, and I want to be able to, you know, show people there's way more to ninja than just Sasuke in a good way. Nathan, what's your opinion on the stage 2 races for A&W is what he asked. Hi, Nathan. I didn't have to search it. I read it and I understood. I don't think it's bad. You know, I don't think it's bad. I just, again, I would prefer that they commit fully to races for the entire finals, or commit fully to the 4 stages the traditional way, not this mix of both. Nathan forgetting that I don't really speak Spanish, but I can understand a good amount if I'm reading or listening is hilarious. Specifically reading. If I'm reading Spanish, I can pick up quite a bit of it. I need to get better at the speaking side of it, though. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Cheyenne. OCR and Ninja is not the same. OCR obviously will be in the Olympics in 2028, and I'm very happy for them about that. However, it is still an event in the pentathlon. It's not its own standalone Olympic game. But it's not Ninja. It's not the same thing as Ninja. They're hardly Ninja obstacles. They are modified and most of the time nerfed versions of Ninja obstacles. Case in point, Isaiah Thomas just went to the World Championships for the OCR 100-meter dash. He doesn't train that That course has been the same for like 6 years, and there are people who train just that one course over and over and over, trying to perfect their craft, find all the shortcuts, find ways they can be the most efficient to become champion. Isaiah Thomas does ninja, and he set the world record in that course. He didn't specialize in that training whatsoever. He just is a really good ninja, and he's very fast, and he set the world record. This was like last week. Absolutely insane. So it's one of those things where if ninjas make the move over to OCR, it's going to be a problem for a lot of the... And honestly, I was looking at like the top 16 for the adult division, which Isaiah was not in, but the adult division, most of them are ninjas anyways. You had Yuri Prokudin, who's the Russian ninja champion. You had Leo Calderon, who's the Costa Rican ninja who competes on Ninja Warrior Germany. Dimitri Uls from Ninja Warrior France. Glenn Albright from ANW. Tommy Matthews, who kind of does a bit of ninja and OCR in the UK. Like, there was a lot. Where can I watch the... I would check out Isaiah Thomas's Instagram for his world record run. And then also check out the Instagram Coach Jmark. It's Coach _ JAYMARK. Jmark is from the Philippines, and he was the world record holder in the OCR 100 meter until last week when Isaiah Thomas beat him. But that is the style of course that is going to be in the Olympics in 2028. That's what they're trying to get into the Olympics in 2032 is its own thing. And they have been partnering with UNAA and some other leagues to host a championship level event. And essentially it's led to ninjas thinking that they're going to have a shot at the Olympics to do ninja. I guess OCR might be considered a version of ninja. I don't really consider it that way. It's different enough to where I consider them two different things. And I think, it really needs to be different. A line in the sand needs to be drawn so athletes really understand the opportunities in front of them. So that way they're not getting false hope that they're going to be in the Olympics to do ninja. As long as they know what they're doing and they know exactly what they're signing up for, I think, more power to them. Go for it. Go for the Olympics. Why not? Nathan, I don't know French, but I'm assuming you're asking how I think Colt will do on ANW 17. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, the whole thing about partnering with UNAA as well, like you have to have 75 countries participating in your sport to be considered for the Olympics. So with them partnering, World Obstacle wants to say that they control all of obstacle course racing, which was the 100-meter Spartan races, and now they want to take over Ninja. And when UNAA partners with them, they get to say technically that Ninja is practiced by 75 different countries. And that's not the case, not our style of Ninja, but no. Nathan, I could tell it was French. I watch ninja shows from all around the world, and I have to listen to different languages. I can differentiate a lot of languages now because of that. I can't understand them all, but I can differentiate them. Until watching, I really thought Ninja was about to be in the Olympics. Nah, OCR 100 will be as a fifth of the pentathlon, so not as its standalone thing. And then maybe it'll evolve into where it becomes its own thing, but I would never expect to see a Batarang in the Olympics if they keep progressing the way they're going, because it's not that type of ninja. They're using ninja for name recognition because Ninja Warrior is a popular IP. And UNAA is using them to fast track ninja into the Olympics, kind of in a cutting corners type of way, it seems, but we'll see. Billy said a while ago, notice how we haven't talked about the UNAA format today. I'm going to be real. The format of UNAA isn't terrible. For those who don't know, each obstacle is worth a certain amount of points. You get a certain distance on the obstacle, you get 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, whatever. And, you know, the most amount of points in the least amount of time is what puts you higher on the leaderboard. I don't think that's bad, because if you mess up halfway through an obstacle but you put in a good fight, I think that's fair. You know, I think you could, it's not wrong to say, all right, we'll give you a point for that. I don't think that's terrible. It's not the format with UNAA that I have a problem with. Let's say that. There's a new sports show coming to Poland, predicting that it will be something like Bonzuke or Sportsman. Interesting. Let me know how that goes. If it's something in the realm of Bonzuke or Sportsman or something that's been licensed like that, might be worth checking out. Might be. UNAA is overhated. I've said this before. You will never catch me ever paying for their finals, because their finals deserve all of the hate that they get. They're not safe. They're not run with integrity. The live streams are not good. Who they let compete in regards to people who have been controversial in the past, in a criminal type of way, I don't agree with. But in terms of like the gyms who partner with UNAA and host the competitions, I don't have a problem with the format, and I think the gyms do a pretty decent job at hosting those events, you know? So no hate towards UNAA in that regard, but when it comes to their finals, Salty Ninja Memes absolutely rips them a new one on Instagram, and I frankly don't think that's unwarranted. You know, I think it's pretty deserved, considering they've had people asking and providing feedback, asking for change for years, and it's been almost a decade, and we haven't really seen much important change. They're saying that things are going to change this season, so I'm definitely curious about how that's going to look and what that'll be like, but at the moment, you know, we haven't seen a lot. Oh, no way. Guys, go check out Jamie's YouTube. It's just Jami. I'm gonna be on Robloxy and Sasuke in the next episode. That's gonna be in like an hour, so go check it out in an hour. I ran Roblox a while back, and so I guess that's coming out today. I didn't realize it was already edited. Awesome. Shout out Jamie. Huh. Looks like Ninja Gamer is stepping out of the stream. And yes, Rock Solid is hosting the Youth Championships for NSC. That's going on right now, actually. No, Josh Hour is not at the NSC finals. Not for the youth finals. I'm curious as to what's going to happen with him in NSC. Wonder if he's even going to be allowed to compete in this upcoming season. But even beyond Josh Hour, UNAA has allowed another registered sex offender to compete in there for quite a while now. Yeah, so like it's just nothing new from UNAA. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that more than I need to. All right. Wow, an hour and 5 minutes for this stream. This is a pretty short soapbox, but I feel like we covered everything pretty precisely. Once again, as a reminder to everybody, please, if you see anyone, curious about something in Ninja or being overly toxic and they might need a little refresher on why we love Ninja in the first place, send them Soapbox. Soapbox is a great place to have conversations. Tell them to tune into the next episode. I don't always want to just... I love seeing that there's the same people coming back for these episodes. I really do. But of course, I want to see new faces in here as well, because that means that we're reaching new people and new members of the community. Will be able to enjoy this in a new light. Enjoy Ninja and not let all of the Debbie Downer stuff get to them all the time. Imagine if leagues did literal Midoriyama format exactly like the show. WNL used to do that, just not with a final stage, and a lot of people were pretty upset with that, so they started doing the strongest ninja bracket and added skills and all the other stuff, so that way, if you fell on stage 1, you had more to do. The opinion of everyone was not good. Like, I flew across the country, I flew from a different country, I fell on the 3rd obstacle of stage 1, I have nothing to do, I paid all this money. That was not fun. Like, that was the feedback. So things changed, and that's why WNL evolved to the way it is now. So and believe me, we'll be talking about World Champion and Strongest Ninja in the next episode of Soapbox. That'll be sometime in September. I don't know when yet. Guys, I have 4 competitions in these next week. Competition season starts back up for me. I got 4. I got 4 in a row. Like 4 weeks in a row. Although one of them isn't really a competition that I'm competing in. It's a fundraiser event for the gym that I work at. I'm designing the course. I'm probably going to ref. But at the end, we do, as tradition, a coach's fun run. So I am still going to run the course, and, that'll probably be uploaded on this channel as well. But next week, I have my first, comp. It's going to be fun. I don't know what the heck a GCSE is. I'm pretty sure that's your exam. I don't know what that would entail, but I'll make a ninja exam for people. The notes are Soapbox, and you have to study Soapbox. Oh, man. That would be the most subjectively scuffed thing. A video explaining what it's like to ref. That would be very interesting. Course design is something that I'm currently learning about. I definitely have more experience reffing right now. I feel more qualified to talk about reffing than course design at the moment. But this year, I'm hoping I get some opportunities to design some more courses. Yeah. Course designing is very complicated, and I'm still not very good at it. I'm better at course design than I am at obstacle design, like creating a new obstacle. I'm terrible at those, but course design itself, I can do all right with. I would love to get more experience in course design, and then I'd feel comfortable talking about it on an episode of Soapbox. Yeah, great question 1. Someone's going to say a name, and I'm just going to mark them wrong, and they automatically fail. The comp that I'm running actually is going to be following the UNAA format. It's going to be for the Ninja Carolina League, where I'm hoping to become the state champion between all of the athletes in North and South Carolina in my division. I think that'd be really cool. But there's it begins next week, and the championships are in January. So in January or like early February, expect a vlog of the finals for that. But my goal is just to move with much more confidence than I did last season. Last season, y'all, I was such a mess. I was such a mess. Um, I'm competing in the adult advanced division. I thought about doing the pro division. Um, my strategy was to do the pro division like January till April to try and progress naturally right now, and then try some courses that I was a little more ready for but were still really hard for me with pro courses, so that way when I get to worlds would be easier. That was my strategy. But the Ninja Carolina League changed their schedule, and now instead of being like September to April, it's September to January for me. And I'm not ready to jump into a pro course. I'd just be wasting money getting my butt whooped on obstacles that I don't have the fundamentals for. I'm actively working on the fundamentals. So like if I come across a tricky obstacle with a cane, I'm still learning the fundamentals of cane technique, you know? So I don't feel comfortable in doing a pro course where I'm just going to get destroyed right away. I would rather have had those extra like September, October, November, December to train for it, gotten better at it, and then I would have been like, okay, let's try the pro stuff. But for now, I'm going to go for the adult advanced division. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm just hoping that I can be the state champ here. I was always super anxious before my course runs. I doubted my place in the rankings constantly. I was making excuses like, "Oh, I only got third place today because the person in fourth had a fluke today. You know, it was just not their day." Like, I was always downplaying myself, and my confidence wasn't super duper high. I'm definitely not like overconfident, but I'm much more confident in my abilities, and I know what I'm capable of now thanks to Worlds. And since then, I've been progressing more. So now I'm like, okay, if there's an opportunity to link something, I'm going to link it in competition. I'm going to send it, when I feel like I can. It's going to be a very different type of season for me. I'm going to be moving like a different athlete than what I was a few months ago. And that really excites me because that's what Ninja's all about: improvement and progress and getting better and pushing yourself. So I'm super hyped for that. Cheyenne said to seriously make a vid about reffing, coaching, and course design. The BTS of Ninja Comps deserves more screen time. You are absolutely right. Here's the deal. I don't know enough about it yet. I just don't. I'm speaking on show stuff and league stuff that I've experienced. I've watched a lot of the shows, so I can speak more on it on a global level than pretty much anyone else can. And I've started competing, so now I can provide the athlete perspective as well as the coach's perspective. I can expand on coaching in the future for sure, because I've now been coaching for a little bit of time, and that'll continue. The nice thing about this year is I now get to coach Ninja. I'm going to be learning how to coach climbing, parkour, and gymnastics all this year. And that's going to be my job, on top of doing WNL international stuff. So I'm really excited to do that. Plus commentary, plus competing. Like, it's going to be great. And because of that, I don't have another job that's going to take me away from Ninja now. It's going to be full-time Ninja, which is super exciting. And with that, I'm going to have more time to explore being a ref, which I've refed before quite a few times, but more experience would be nice. I get to dive more into course designing, creating lesson plans for classes, helping manage competitions, learning more about commentary, whatever else there is in Ninja. Now I'm going to finally have the time to fully dedicate towards it, and I'm going to learn a lot more this year in this coming season than I did last year. That's for sure. 2023, and honestly, up until literally yesterday for me, was a lot of trying to make things work. I moved out here not with any guaranteed ninja stuff except for World Ninja League work. Um, and now I've been fighting on and off for it. That's a whole other video. But essentially, since June of last year, I've been talking to the gym that I coach with, and I've been like, hey, are there any hours that I could pick up? Is there any way I could work here more? I would love for this to be my full-time job. And I've been trying and trying for like a year and 3 months. I've been asking, I've been learning, I've been, seeking out different things in terms of information and knowledge that I need to have. And I was getting a lot of no's for a long time, and that made me do coaching, WNL, and then a third job. I was doing 3 jobs for the longest time. And now they finally said, yeah, we have space, and if you want to learn, now's the time. So I'm jumping straight into that, and that means all of my focus gets to be towards my craft, ninja, that I love and that I came here for. And so because of that, things are going to be moving a lot faster than normal. I've had goals and plans for projects, plans for competitions, plans for strategies on specific business models that I've been working on. I want to really, really get the chance to grow that now. And now the floodgates are open. I have that opportunity. And the more I learn, the more I will share. And with that, soapbox episodes will progress and go into that territory, Cheyenne, if that makes sense. Make a video about commentary. I don't know if commentary has enough to talk about for its own video, but commentary will definitely get mentioned at some point. I also have some ideas specifically for things that I want to do in the future in Ninja that I just will not be sharing because I don't want anyone to take those ideas. I don't want those ideas floating around at all. So that way I could say that I'm the first to do that, Or I'd be the first to put a certain spin on something familiar, if that makes sense. Full-time ninja is something. I'm not going to pretend that I'm like, ninja's definitely not making me rich. That's for sure. But the fact that I get to do ninja, even if it's, only for a limited amount of time, where ninja is what gets to pay the bills and provide for my wife and my child, Calypso, my cat. She's sleeping on my lap. She's adorable. I'm just very blessed. I took a risk in moving 5,000 miles away from home, and for it to finally have worked out the way I need it, it's really great. It's really great. And now I'm going to be pursuing a lot more to just make sure that I'm getting where I want to be in the future. I would love to be at a certain point by like 2028. That would be my goal. We'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping earlier. The sooner the better, for sure. But yeah, I kept thinking like, oh, 2023 is going to be my biggest year. No, there's some people who are in like 6 figures from Ninja. It's not many people though, but there's some people. I wouldn't say 6 figures is automatically rich, but 6 figures is pretty solid, especially for Ninja. I always thought like, oh, 2023 is going to be my biggest year. I'm going to move. I'm going to try tier 2. I'm going to go to Worlds and see what it's like. I'm going to start commentary. And then, of course, of all things, the number one thing, I got married that year. Like, it was a big year. And then I was looking at 2024, and I'm like, okay, in terms of Ninja, this is bigger than what I did for Ninja in 2023. I'm the regular commentator now. I am going to compete at Worlds. I'm doing competitions regularly, and I'm starting to make new friends in the ninja community that have different connections, and that's really cool and all. 2025. Without a doubt. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, 2025 is going to be my biggest year. And I won't say why, because, again, it's a lot of projects and ideas that I want to keep to myself right now. I don't want people taking those ideas. Is my camera not in focus? Or is it just really bad? Anyways. Yeah, 2025, a year from now. I'm hoping like sometime in summer, like in August or September, hopefully August, I'll have a lot of different projects going on at once. But that work starts now. I'm trying to take some stuff off of my plate. I'm wrapping up some stuff for TSN. I'm finishing up editing Dropskate, and when that stuff's done, I'm going to be like fully focused on just, you know, everything still to come. Because I didn't just move to North Carolina from Hawaii, of all places. I didn't make that big of a life-changing decision just to do the obstacles, just to be in ninja gyms and like play around in some comps. Granted, I love that experience, but there's much more I'm aiming for, and now is going to be the time to really capitalize on it. You're still the OG ninja tuber who made Cool or Canceled in the college dorm room, though. Respect, my G. Cool or Canceled. What a throwback. We'll definitely bring Cool or Canceled back someday. We will. 2025 is also going to be the year where I make like the fun videos again. Alongside some serious videos, but some fun videos. All Cheyenne, I hope you find some competition opportunities. I'm hoping that I can create some in WNL, but the True Function team kind of needs to get back to me about that. Anyways. Anyone else have any final thoughts before I wrap the stream? All right. Well, this is definitely not it for me. I'm pretty much going to be on YouTube for the rest of the day. In about 35 minutes, go check out Jamie with the Robloxian Sasuke Season 3 premiere. I am in that episode running Stage 1. You'll find out if I got better at Roblox or if I still suck at Roblox. So be sure to check that out. And then at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we jump into Day 2 of the premiere series for the World Ninja League at the Compound in Australia. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the amateur and elite divisions. So I'm going to be up pretty much all night, working my butt off, and it's going to be a great time. With that said, thank you guys, as always, for watching Kane Soapbox. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.